Welcome to our deep dive into Psalms 46 through 50. It's quite a collection.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to look at God as refuge, as king, and as judge, concepts people have thought about for centuries,
Definitely.
and we'll see how these ideas are expressed in these Psalms.
It really is fascinating how these Psalms are grouped together. There's like a flow,
Right.
a real progression of thought as you go from 46 to 50.
Okay, let's jump into Psalm 46. I love that opening line. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. What jumps out to you about that?
Well, it's not just that God is like this distant protector.
Right.
He's right there with you, even when everything is falling apart. The earth, the mountains, the seas.
Yeah.
He's there offering strength.
I love the image in this song, too, of that river, the streams that make glad the city of God. What does that image make you think of?
I think of inner peace, deep joy, the kind of peace that nothing can touch.
Yeah.
It's not about pretending that there's no trouble, but about finding that unshakable center in God, no matter what's going on around you.
Okay, so how could someone listening right now with all the anxieties of modern life, how could they find comfort in this psalm?
Well, think about what we deal with today. Information overload, pressure to succeed, the future is so uncertain.
Yeah, well, it is.
But Psalm 46 reminds us that we have this source of strength, a strength greater than any challenge.
So we're talking about finding that inner peace, that connection to God.
Right. And it allows us to face anything with courage and hope.
I like that. So that's Psalm 46. Let's shift gears to Psalm 47. The energy definitely changes here.
It sure does. Now it's time to celebrate.
Yeah.
Oh, clap your hands, all you people. Shout unto God with the voice of triumph.
I love it. So much energy here.
Definitely.
But it's more than just making noise, right?
Of course. You have to think about verse 7. Sing praises with understanding. We're talking about the Hebrew idea of yada. It's more than just intellectual knowledge.
Okay, so explain that a bit more.
It's about really experiencing God, that deep knowing that comes from being in his presence.
Wow, that's powerful. So for someone listening today, what does it mean to praise with that understanding?
It's about getting past just saying the words, really thinking about what it means to acknowledge God as king.
Okay, but what does that look like today?
Well, it starts with a change in perspective.
Mhm.
Look at your life, your struggles, your successes. See it all through the lens of God's sovereignty.
And letting go of control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We aren't really in control.
So it's about humility, but also finding freedom in knowing that God is in control.
Yeah, I like that. Then we get to Psalm 48, and we're transported to Mount Zion, God's holy city.
Yeah, such a powerful place. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised in the city of our God.
You can feel the awe and reverence for this place.
You really can. The psalm talks about the city's beauty and strength. And it even says to walk about Zion and go round about her, tell the towers thereof. Mark ye well, her bulwarks consider her palaces, that ye may tell it to the generation following. Why is it so important to remember and tell about Zion?
It's about preserving those stories of God's faithfulness, his protection,
Wow,
passing them down from generation to generation.
Of course, we don't have a physical Zion anymore. So how can we find that security in God today?
We have to create our own Zion, I think.
What do you mean by that?
It's about building that place of peace and strength inside of us. Our relationship with God is the foundation.
So it's an inner sanctuary
Yeah.
where we can be in God's presence.
That's it. And it doesn't matter where you are or what's going on around you.
And then Psalm 49. This one's a bit different.
Yeah, it feels more like a teacher, a wise person giving advice and warnings.
Yeah, like, listen up, everybody. This is important.
Right. And the message is this: no amount of wealth or power can ultimately save us from death. The psalm says, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. It reminds us that we're only human, and nothing earthly lasts forever.
Wow. It really challenges us to rethink what's important.
It does. Our society often connects wealth with worth.
Right, and this psalm says that's not true.
It really challenges that. It makes us ask ourselves, what do we really value?
It's about looking for something more enduring than material things.
Exactly. And that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What does it mean to seek something that lasts?
What are those things that go beyond this world?
Right. I think this psalm points us to wisdom, understanding, and a relationship with God.
And those are the things that give our lives true meaning.
Yes.
I love that.
We were just talking about understanding and how it's so important for real faith.
Yeah, it's a big theme in all these songs.
It is.
But especially in Psalm 50, we're challenged to go deeper than just rituals.
Right. It's not about going through the motions.
Yeah, I think we all do that sometimes.
I know, I do. But God wants more than that.
Exactly. There's that verse about God rejecting sacrifices. He doesn't need our bulls or goats.
Yeah, it's like God is saying, I have everything I need. I want your heart.
That's powerful. It makes me think about how we try to do all the right things.
Oh, yeah.
Following the rules, checking all the boxes.
But that's not what it's about.
No. Psalm 50 tells us that real faith comes from somewhere else.
It's about humility, surrendering to God.
And recognizing that we're not really in control.
Right. We have to let God's grace change us from the inside out.
It's not about earning God's love.
Nope.
It's about letting him work in our hearts.
To shape us into who we're meant to be.
It's a process, isn't it?
It is a lifelong journey.
Of seeking God's guidance.
Looking at our own hearts.
And trying to live in a way that shows God's love.
You got it. We also talked before about calling on God when things are tough. I think it's worth looking at that again in this psalm.
I agree. Verse 15 says, "Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me."
It's so comforting to me.
Yeah. Why is that?
It reminds us that we don't have to go through hard times alone.
God is always there for us.
He is. But we have to ask for his help.
It's admitting that we need him.
Yeah.
That we don't have all the answers.
It's not easy to do that, to admit we need help.
No, it's not. But it's important.
Absolutely. When we surrender to God, that brings him glory.
Okay, so we've gone through these 5 psalms.
5 very different psalms.
Yeah, but there are connections between them. What are some of the big themes that you see?
Well, one big one is God as a refuge, a place of safety in the storms of life.
Yeah, we see that in Psalm 46, with those images of mountains falling into the sea.
Yeah, but God is still there, solid and unchanging.
And that connects to the idea of Zion in Psalm 48.
Right.
It's not just about a physical place.
No.
It's about finding that security in God's presence.
Wherever we are.
Exactly. Another theme is understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Really getting it, not just going through the motions.
Yeah, it's about using our minds and our hearts.
Psalm 47 talks about singing praises with understanding.
And then Psalm 49 tells us to seek wisdom and understanding.
Instead of chasing after money and success.
Right. Those things don't last.
So what does last?
A relationship with God.
And that brings us to another theme.
Real faith. Genuine faithfulness.
We see that so clearly in Psalm 50.
It rejects empty rituals.
God wants our hearts.
He wants us to live out our faith.
To make it real in our everyday lives.
It's about becoming more like Christ.
And that's a journey.
A lifelong process.
Of seeking God's guidance.
Looking at our own hearts.
And trying to live in a way that reflects God's love and grace.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing to think about those Psalms being written for today's world.
Right. Like imagine Psalm 46, but it's about climate change.
Oh, wow.
Or the fear of another pandemic.
Yeah, or Psalm 50 talking about social media.
Yeah. Like a call to be real, to connect with each other in this digital age.
I love that. It shows how much we're still the same even though the world changes.
We are.
We still search for meaning and purpose.
And we want to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. And these songs give us a way to think about those things.
They do. They remind us that there's something out there that's stronger than our problems.
That we're not alone.
And that there's wisdom to guide us, if we look for it.
Okay, so as we finish up this deep dive into Psalms 46 through 50, what are some of the most important things you hope people take away?
Well, I hope they see that these Psalms are still relevant today.
Yeah, they really are.
Even though they were written so long ago, they speak to what we all want.
What do you mean?
Security, meaning, connection.
Yeah.
We all need those things. And these Psalms show us how to find them.
Through a relationship with God.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to remember that faith is about more than just following rules.
It's about understanding.
Yes. It's about asking questions, searching for wisdom.
Letting our faith guide our lives.
Making it real, not just something we talk about.
Okay, and the last big takeaway.
I think it's about living with integrity, being authentic. Psalm 50 really challenges us to go beyond just appearances.
To let our faith show in how we live.
To live out the qualities of God, love, grace, justice.
To make our faith who we are, not just something we do.
Perfectly said.
It's about becoming the people we're meant to be.
It is. And it's a journey.
A lifelong journey.
And it's not always easy.
But it's worth it.
It is.
So we encourage everyone to go back and read these Psalms again.
Think about them.
Let them speak to you in a new way.
Maybe even try rewriting a psalm for today.
That's a great idea.
You might surprise yourself with what you discover.
And remember, faith is a journey, not a destination.
Keep searching.
Keep asking questions.
And let God guide you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next